Chapter 4 The Weld. The morning after the discovery, Pine-Meadow held its breath. Rain had stopped, leaving behind damp cobblestones and air that smelled faintly of metal. Yellow county tape circled Market Square like a nervous boundary. Hazel Brooke arrived early, her satchel heavy with Ada's notes. Maya stood by her pastry table, already arranging croissants. "If truth causes panic," she said, "we'll calm them with butter." Hazel smiled, grateful for the ordinary sound of her friend's voice. The county inspector's on his way. Miss Darrow appeared soon after, papers under her arm. "He's punctual," she said. "Unlike our mayor, who arrives late to his own denials." The inspector, Leduc, stepped from his truck, clipboard in hand. "Miss Brooke, Miss Darrow, we'll start with the weld under the square. Witnesses are useful. Panic is not." "Pine-Meadow doesn't panic," Miss Darrow replied. "It gossips efficiently." Tom Riley pried open the old storm grate beside the library. Cool air rose from the tunnel, heavy and stale. Hazel followed Leduc down the ladder, flashlight cutting through the dark. The brick corridor stretched ahead like a throat. 10 meters in, the welded door waited, initials scratched in rust. LT9/85. "Leonard Turner," Hazel said. "Public Works." The Duke nodded. "The man who sealed it." He knelt and tapped along the seam. "We'll make 3 cuts, small and slow." Hazel held the light steady as his hammer struck. Metal sang, then cracked. A faint hiss escaped, a sweet chemical whisper. They slipped on respirators. Leduc levered the seam until the door gave a slow, reluctant groan. Behind it waited rows of blue barrels stacked on wood pallets. On the wall, a whiteboard bore the ghost of words long erased. "Hold, transfer, report." "Hazardous waste," Leduc said quietly. "Sealed and forgotten." Hazel lifted her camera, photographing everything. Barrels, floor, markings. A chalk arrow pointed to a sump drain. Beside it, faint boot prints curved away. "Whoever came last wasn't Ada," Hazel murmured. Leduc touched his radio. "Confirmed containment site. Request hazmat team and restricted perimeter." Above, Miss Darrow's voice came back, calm and clear. "The square's already pretending not to stare." When Hazel climbed up, sunlight hit her eyes like surprise. A crowd had gathered. Townsfolk, reporters, the mayor in his best neutral expression. "Miss Brooke," a journalist called. "What's under there?" "Barrels," Hazel said. "From the mid-'80s. Waste from the packaging plant." "Are you suggesting negligence?" "I'm suggesting memory," Hazel replied. "Ada Merriweather tried to warn everyone." Miss Darrow stepped in smoothly. "Ada filed reports. They were ignored. Pine-Meadow has a chance to do better now." The mayor adjusted his tie. "Let's not assign blame prematurely." "Let's not postpone accountability," Miss Darrow countered. Hazel hid a smile. The librarian's words had the precision of scalpels. By late morning, hazmat crews in white suits began removing the drums. Each one lifted into daylight felt like a confession. Onlookers whispered, phones recorded. Leonard Turner arrived quietly, shoulders squared. He stopped near the tape, removed his cap, and stared at the opening. "I welded that," he said. "They told me it was temporary." "You believed them?" Hazel asked gently. "I wanted to," he sighed. "We all wanted Pine-Meadow to stay small enough for secrets." Leduc approached with his recorder. "Mr. Turner, would you give a statement?" "I'll tell you everything," Turner said. Names, orders, and what it cost us to keep quiet. The mayor shifted uneasily, but no one looked his way. In the cafe, Hazel and Maya watched the removal from behind the window. Maya poured coffee into 2 mismatched cups. "You realize you just rewrote town history?" she said. "Not history," Hazel answered. "Just truth." Maya tilted her head. "Same thing, but messier." Outside, a news crew filmed the final barrel being loaded onto the truck. The whiteboard followed, sealed in plastic. Its faint words, "hold" and "transfer," caught the sunlight one last time before disappearing into the van. Hazel exhaled. Ada was right. The town hid it instead of fixing it. "And now?" Maya asked. "Now they'll have to see it." That afternoon, Leduc called for a brief press gathering. "The site has been secured," he said. "The materials will be analyzed off-site. A public report will follow. There is no immediate risk to residents." Reporters shouted questions. Leduc nodded toward Hazel. "Miss Brooke found the initial evidence. Her cooperation was essential." Hazel stepped forward. "This wasn't mine to find," she said. "Ada Merriweather documented everything 40 years ago. I only followed her map." A reporter asked, "Do you think the town will recover?" Hazel looked around the square, the tape, the people, the quiet weight of honesty. "It's not about recovery," she said. "It's about remembering." The reporter lowered her pen, thoughtful. When the trucks left, only locals remained. Tom packed his tools. Miss Darrow stood beside Hazel, watching the square settle. "It's strange," Hazel said. "All those years, people walked above this and never knew." "They knew something," Miss Darrow said. "They just lacked proof. Proof is a polite name for courage." "Will the county actually fix it?" "They'll try," she said. "And if they don't, we'll remind them." Maya joined them, brushing flour off her sleeves. "I'll remind them daily, with pastry bribes." Leduc walked over, handing Hazel a small evidence bag. Inside was a cassette labeled "July Continuate." "Ada's last recording," he said. "The county made copies, but this belongs to her story. Keep it safe." Hazel nodded. "We will." That night, the cafe lights glowed warm against the damp street. Hazel placed the cassette in the player. Maya sat beside her, cross-legged on a flour sack. The tape hissed, then Ada's calm voice filled the room. "If you're hearing this, I'm likely late for a meeting I didn't survive. The town believes silence keeps it safe. It doesn't. Silence only keeps it small." A pause. "When you open the weld, do it with witnesses. And tea. People tell the truth more easily with something warm in their hands." Maya's throat tightened. "She even planned the refreshments." Hazel smiled faintly. "Of course she did." Ada continued. "If they ask why you bothered, tell them Pine-Meadow doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be honest." The tape ended with a soft click. Maya wiped her eyes. "So, what now?" Hazel reached for her notebook. "We open the archive. Tomorrow." Morning brought shy sunlight. Inside the library's lower room, Hazel, Miss Darrow, and Tom arranged documents, maps, and Ada's tapes on long tables. A small sign above the door read, "The Merriweather Archive. Open for reading." Maya entered with coffee. "It needs a quote," she said. "Something Ada would have liked." Hazel took a piece of chalk and wrote beneath the sign, "Small truths add up." Miss Darrow looked at it for a long moment. "Perfect," she said. One by one, townspeople arrived. Teachers, shopkeepers, even the mayor. They moved quietly among the tables, reading Ada's letters and council notes, listening to her recorded voice. No one spoke loudly. The sound of pages turning felt like progress. Hazel stood by the window, watching sunlight filter across the papers. Pine-Meadow, for once, wasn't pretending. "This is what she wanted," Hazel whispered. Maya joined her. "What about you? What do you want?" Hazel smiled. "Another mystery, maybe, but not today." They watched as Mr. Ballantyne poured tea for visitors, as Miss Darrow explained a map to a child tracing lines with his finger. For the first time, Hazel felt the town breathing easily. The truth hadn't broken Pine-Meadow. It had steadied it. She closed her notebook on a final line. Daylight isn't the end. It's where the next story begins. Outside, the rain started again. Gentle, ordinary, like punctuation on a sentence that had finally been written correctly.